want justice, you say
If you love Mexico, go back to Mexico. If you love Mexico, go back to Mexico.
racist piece of shit.
If you love Mexico, go back to Mexico. Down your back.
Happy ice rink now.
That's what you get when you protest in Tampa, Florida. You get countered with MAGA patriots showing up, shouting out, if you love Mexico so much, then go back. Go back. If you love Mexico, go back. And you're fat, too. That's how you do it, gang. And that's exactly what we're seeing in the polls. We predicted... You don't have to be you don't have to be an astute political observer to have predicted this. But we predicted it this morning. This was the last fight on the planet that the Democrats wanted. It was only going to end up strengthening Trump and his mass deportation efforts, and we got the receipts to prove it. Greetings, everyone. It is live stream Monday night. Great to have every single one of you here. As we always do on our Monday nights, we're going to move our lively discussion of all things culture and politics over to our exclusive censorship-free virtual platform. There's so much to talk about tonight. Obviously, we got news of 500 Marines that have just landed in L.A. We got the Democrats and the legacy media in total disarray. Apparently, the Minnesota state house may have just flipped because one of their state lawmakers admitted to being an illegal migrant. They can't, this is just incredible. They can't, but they are playing right into President Trump's hands. You could not script this better. We've got tons of stuff to chat about. So if you want to join us over at our exclusive virtual platform for some sweet fellowship and some awesome scholarly discussion, just scan this QR code, or you could click on the link in the description below for a very small, modest monthly fee. You're going to have access to all of our exclusive Q&As, exclusive content, exclusive conversations and meetups with yours truly. You get access to all of our exclusive offers. So click the link, click the link in the description below, or scan the QR code on the screen to become a member of the Courageous Patriots Club, where thousands of us gather together each and every single week to restore the pillars of faith, family, and freedom as we usher in a new conservative age. We will head on over there momentarily. But first, Rasmussen, one of the most accurate pollsters in 2024, our good friend Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen, is showing a Trump Sunday surge. That's what Rich Barris over at the People's Pundit is calling it. He's got his own polling that we'll show you in a moment. Within hours of the start of the riots and the deployment of the National Guard, according to Rasmussen, Trump's approval shot up to 54%. 54.49%. Rich Barris, the single most accurate pollster of 2024, is seeing the exact same thing on his program Inside the Numbers today with Robert Barnes. His polling showed Trump surging by 5 points on Sunday, and his disapproval collapsed. Now, Rich has not published the numbers yet, so I'll just give them to you based on what he reported today on his program. But yesterday, Sunday, he found that Trump's disapproval numbers dropped from 40% to 30.3%. These are those who strongly disapprove of Trump. From 40 to 30.3. It was a near 10-point drop. His strongly approved, those who are diehard all for him, rose from the low 20s to nearly 30%. So there is basically parity between those who strongly disapprove and those who strongly approve. And another 24% somewhat approve. So approval numbers are aggregates of those who strongly approve and those who somewhat approve. They certainly don't disapprove. So overall approval is almost the same Ask Rasmussen. Rasmussen has 54%. Barris has 53.1%. Again, these are two of the most accurate pollsters of 2024. So Trump's combined disapproval, according to Barris, his combined disapproval, those who, Micah, what are you doing? I'm this little guy that keeps coming in. He's like a little mouse. His combined disapproval, so that's those who strongly disapprove and those who somewhat disapprove, is only 40.7%. Total approval, 53%. Total disapproval, 40%. Gang, that is a double-digit approval margin. That is huge. This is like January levels here, okay? And again, it's not hard to see why. Trump literally could not have scripted this better. I mean, think about it. Think about what kind of political opposition could possibly believe that their winning issue would be siding with illegal migrants. What planet do these people live on? To think siding with illegal migrants is a win, and not just siding with illegal migrants, but siding with illegal migrants who are protesting our country with flags of their countries of origin that they refuse to go back to. Right now, as we speak, Governor Gavin Newsom, as Trump calls him, Newsom, Happy Hands Newsom. Happy Hands Newsom has made himself completely unelectable at a national level. He is in the process of blowing up in real time his entire political future. The burning of those autonomous cars, those self-driving cars, is a perfect symbol of Happy Hands Newsom's political future. His state, may I remind you, Barris was talking about this earlier today. His state, California, was one of two solid blue states that swung way over to Trump back in November. Trump won over 40% of the vote in California and flipped a number of counties, right? He flipped San Bernardino County. He flipped Orange County. He flipped Fresno. Literally a half a dozen counties that were all blue in 2020 turned red in November. Not a single county went the other way. Not a single California county flipped from red to blue. Not one. And the other state, by the way, is Jersey. Jersey came within 6 of voting for Trump. And both of them swung largely because of the Latino vote. The Latino vote is a radically anti-illegal migrant vote. It's the exact opposite of what we were told in 2008 and 2012 and 2016, for that matter. The Latino vote is absolutely pro border security and mass deportations, precisely because the Latino community is the community that is most adversely affected by that illegal migration. We saw the same pattern, by the way, with border counties in Texas, like Starr County. Starr County, 98% Latino. It voted Democrat in every single presidential election for 100 years. Voted Trump in November. First time in a century it shifted from blue to red. And why? Because it's a border county. Because they're seeing it. They saw it over the last 4 years. 12 million migrants in 4 years. Illegal migrants in 4 years. 12 million, 3 million a year, 250,000 a month, 8,000 illegal border crossings a day. They've had it. This is the pattern that we're seeing all over the country. In doubling down on defending illegal migrants, to which we have to ask the Democrats, I'm sorry, how many more illegal migrants do you want in the country? We've had 12 million over the course of 4 years. How many more do you want? How many more? Another million? In a year? 2 million, 3 million in a year? In doubling down on defending illegal migrants, the Democrats are politically destroying themselves. Open borders is no longer it's never been a viable political position. Never. Just look at Europe. Why do you think the populist right is surging in Europe? It's because the populations of Europe want their borders secured. I think, from what we've been seeing now over the weekend, I think there's a natural disgust. I'll call it a disgust towards foreigners coming into our nation and then protesting against it, let alone flying the flags of the very countries they're dead set against returning. My wife, many of you know, my wife is an immigrant, born and raised in Japan. She first came here for college, and she often told me how uncomfortable she was around other foreign students studying at the same music conservatory we went to, who would start bashing the United States. And I saw it myself. I saw a number of students from Europe, for example, who came here to the United States and then started bashing our country, that it should be more like Europe. And she was like, if it's so bad here, why are you here in the United States? She recognized that. She thought it was stupid. Why are you here then? And of course, the obvious answer was because this nation had so many more opportunities for those foreign students than their own home countries that they had left. So it would certainly behoove them to show at least a little appreciation and gratitude to the nation that afforded them these opportunities. And by the way, many of them ended up staying here permanently in the United States because of the job opportunities after college. And to make it even worse, if we were to go to their foreign countries, right? If we were to go to their countries of origin, the very countries that, for example, in this case, these protesters and rioters are coming from, if we did the same thing in their countries, if we protested against their governments as foreigners, we'd be arrested and deported. Article 33 of the Mexican Constitution expressly forbids foreigners from engaging in the country's political affairs. Participation in political activities, including protests, results in detention and deportation by Mexican authorities. So I think there is a natural disgust with the utter contemptible hypocrisy of foreigners coming into our country and then not just protesting our country, but actually waving a bunch of flags in nations they think is cruel to deport them back to. And what do the Democrats do? What did every Democrat governor in the nation do yesterday? They sided with those foreign flag waving protesters. They sided with those who were supposedly exercising their right to protest, including foreigners and many illegals waving Mexican flags and Palestinian flags. And I made this argument earlier today. The only ones who weren't offended by this are those who see open borders as reparations. They believe that America's success and power comes largely from exploiting the very countries that these migrants are fleeing from. And so for Democrats, when they see them waving these Mexican flags, for them, that's a sign of victory, of victims vanquishing their historical conquerors. And so open borders allow them to pillage us in a manner comparable to how we supposedly pillaged them. Now, Michael Schellenberger pointed out something very interesting in a video today. As far as these liberal elites are concerned, were these rioters to engage in their car-burning antics in their posh gated neighborhoods, those rioters would all be arrested. Again, shall I take you down memory lane? Does anyone recall Martha's Vineyard? So what happened in Martha's Vineyard a couple of summers ago? You remember that? 80% of Martha's Vineyard's residents voted for open borders in 2020 and again in 2024. And yet, when those open borders came to their own posh backyards, what did they do? When Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, remember this, sent upwards of about 50 migrants to Martha's Vineyard, what did they do? They called out the National Guard. You cannot make this stuff up. They called the National Guard. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker relocated the migrants to the Joint Base Cape Cod military facility, and the National Guard helped facilitate the logistics. So the embarrassment in that is that there is clearly here a two-tier system. If you torch a car in Martha's Vineyard, you're going to be arrested. The neighbors are going to demand that law enforcement take care of you immediately. But you torch a car in downtown or inner city LA or Minneapolis, that's suddenly a legitimate protest that law enforcement would only end up unnecessarily escalating. And Schellenberger nails it. This two-tiered enforcement is not progressive, it's segregation. It's good old-fashioned segregation by another name. And it's in this framework that hardworking families, we're talking blue-collar families that play by the rules and pay their taxes and obey the law, they are the ones who are ultimately getting hurt by this double standard of justice being enforced on them by the modern-day Democrat Party. And God bless them, the working class is turning against them. Latinos are turning against the Democrats. Black men are turning against the Democrats. Asians are turning against the Democrats. Again, like I said, California is turning right. Jersey is turning right. The Rio Grande is turning right. We could not have possibly scripted a more clueless, self-destructive opposition. And now it is time for Trump and the Republicans to dominate politics for a generation. Over to you guys. Over to you. I know we got tons to talk about. I'm ranting. I'm sorry. There's so much to say, but I want to hear from you tonight as we chat away. Micah, do you want to give us some instructions on how we get? You were sneaking in there like a little mouse or something, coming in and out.
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties with the camera, but hopefully the audio is clear. Hopefully the video is clear.
It's all clear, man.
Awesome.
Sounded good.
Yeah, tried to sneak in. I was trying to test some stuff. It was throwing me up. It's fine.
Real protester. I thought you were about to burn a car or something.
Trying to get my FaceTime. Man, it's just been, I mean, even just listening to you talk right now, it's amazing to think of Gavin Newsom even attempting to run for president, which he might still try, but with all the bashing he's been getting on Twitter. I mean, I don't know if you saw this interaction with James Woods, who we had the pleasure of meeting in Vegas. Last
Vegas,
week.
Yeah.
I was able to get a picture with him. I approached him as like a Hercules fan, as he's the voice for Hades. But I mean, this dude is taking down Gavin Newsom. It was amazing. So we had this chain where James Woods posted a picture, said, "If I hear one more leftist shill in mainstream media utter the words peaceful protest, I'll throw up." Gavin Newsom says, "This video is from 2020." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, you did this in 2022. This is not an own. This is a terrible look for you." That 4 years ago, we had the exact same thing going on in California.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. I was just scrolling through X today. Just absolutely, this probably came at the worst possible time for Democrats after they got their first, quote unquote win with Elon and Trump. Just what was that, like 2 months ago? That feels like forever ago.
Yeah,
it's amazing. So we got a bunch of questions from you guys to get through, and if you would like to ask Dr. Steve any question, we have our uncensored Q&A where you will join our private live stream and you will send in your questions. And the price on this, guys, first of all, the value is absolutely amazing. You get to ask as many questions as you like. You don't have to send in a super chat, and you're not giving YouTube any money because YouTube did demonetize this channel, so why would you want to give them money? But you can support the channel fully by clicking on that QR or scanning that QR code, clicking on the link below, and you can join the private live stream where you can ask as many questions as you'd like to Dr. Steve. We also have a call-in section that we'll be showing one of our callers later in the show. So for only 33 cents a day, and that's $10 a month, but 33 cents a day, you get to ask as many questions as you like. We have Q&As every Monday night and every Friday morning. So click on that link below or scan that QR code, and we're going to have some test questions from our loyal trolley troublemakers, as they have deemed themselves to be. It's their given name now. We did not choose that. They chose that for themselves. But that is our Courageous Patriots Club, or the Turley Troublemaker Lounge, I guess. So we have a question from one of those troublemakers, Richard Maynard. Dr. Steve, do you think the deployment of troops to LA might trigger a 1970 Kent State protest situation?
So that is a concern as to the way that they've been structuring the hierarchy, the troop hierarchy, as it were. Is you've got ICE, who are doing the raids, then you have the National Guard, who are protecting ICE, and then you have Los Angeles law enforcement basically standing in between the crowds, the protesters, the rioters, and National Guard. Now, because the violence got out of hand, now apparently 500 to 700 Marines are coming to make sure to be able to keep the peace. So the concern is that, because National Guard is carrying real guns. They're not carrying, they're not carrying the non-lethal rubber bullets. Those are lethal bullets. And same with Marines. Marines don't carry paint guns. So the fundamental difference, however, is that Kent State, if you recall, and even to a certain extent, George Floyd, appeared to be righteous causes. One was Vietnam, and the other one was a black man who appeared to have been basically murdered by an overzealous cop. So at least you could sell the nation that your cause was just, even if it, regardless of whether it was or not. Dude, this is a non-starter. These are people who are trying to double down on the moral high ground of defending people who are here illegally and then who fly the flags of the nations they left and then declare it cruel to have them sent back to the very nations they're celebrating in protest. So it's absurd. It's insane. And all the polls show nobody's with them on this. This is the very definition of an 80-20 issue. So I would say that is a clear difference. Something could happen. There could be, God forbid, there could be some casualties among the protesters and rioters. Things could get really hot and violent. There certainly were a number of deaths during the BLM riots. Obviously, we had the Ashley Babbitt horrific tragedy on J6. So yeah, things can happen, no question. But is this going to have the kind of mass blowback against law enforcement the way Kent State did, or the way, at least at the beginning, the BLM riots did? No way, because the cause is not even remotely just.
Great question, Richard. If you guys do have super chats on YouTube and you don't want, we are accepting super chats, but we would love if you would click on that link below and join us and become a member of our Courageous Patriots Club, become a Turley Troublemaker, and ask as many questions as you'd like. Like Richard is a member of the club and a troublemaker, and a very active one, and participating, giving us great questions like that. We've got a great one from Troublemaker Core ROT5, all out of order. He changes his name every time, but this is ROT Core. I wonder what Jake Carville is going to have to say about the past week. Got any guesses, Dr. Steve?
I brought James. I think it was James
Carville.
Carville. Louisiana. Wow. Yeah, the Raging Cajun. Well, it is interesting because he did say in 2024 that if the Democrats lose in November, you could blame it on Israel. And what he was referring to is the civil war that erupted between pro-Palestinian progressives and pro-Israeli liberals on our college campuses across the country, something very comparable to what happened in '68 before the last Democrat Chicago convention. And he just thought it was splitting the party, and it was a lose-lose, no-win situation. I would assume if he's even remotely with it, I mean, he's getting up there and seems to be losing it half the time. If he's even remotely with it, he would say the same thing here. Now, keep in mind, he has made comments before that this was a righteous issue, like trying to bring Garcia back home and freeing him, not necessarily trying him, but freeing him so they could go back to being the Maryland man he was before he was so wrongfully deported. I mean, he believed in that. He thought this was a righteous cause for the Democrats to double down on. But again, the polling is just every objective metric shows this is a total loser for the Democrats. This is the very definition of an 80-20 issue. And again, they're losing the Rio Grande, they're losing California, they're losing New Jersey. They're losing voters. They're losing Latinos. Latinos are some of the most pro border security votes, as well as blacks, particularly black men, not so much black women, but black men, especially black men. I believe it was under 50, are very, very prone to being extremely pro border security. Because again, they're inordinately affected in terms of entry level position jobs. And when illegal migrants are taking all your jobs for, making half what you are required to make by minimum wage laws, making half of that or not even a third of that with under the table wages. I mean, it drives wages down. And it increases unemployment at entry level job positions. So there's a lot of cross voting demographic opposition to illegal migrants. No major demographic is defending it. So yeah, if he's smart, he'll tell the Democrats, guys, do what you I mean, again, the fundamental question is, how many more illegals do you want in the country? How many more? I mean, I guess they make the argument, oh, our nation's stronger for it. Okay, so what? Another 12 million? Or you have another 12 million illegals? Just like with Biden over 4 years, 3 million a year. Is that what you want? 8,000 a day, 250,000 a month. That's what you want. So, make them fess up.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And, it is just crazy to go back to what I said right before that question about Elon and Trump having this little feud and all the Democrats kind of taking a victory lap. And then the ultimate, all eyes of the nation go from this spat between Elon and Trump to these super predictable LA riots. And the Democrats cannot help but fall over themselves to defend every 20%, every 10% issue, rather than just acknowledge that they are on the wrong side of this. It is absolutely incredible. So James Carville he would have no answer. I'm sure he'll say he's going to keep his head down because that was his idea, to just keep your head down. They can't. It's like hearing a whistle on the other side of no man's land and sticking your head out like, oh, I got to see what that is. What's going on? It's just every time shooting fish in a barrel right now. We're gonna have one more question, and I thought this was pretty relevant to something I saw on X today. But it's from MK. Who do you think would make a good Veep electorally for Vance in 2028?
Electorally, that's it. Well, I mean, because a lot of people are already, the rumblings are Vance Rubio. But now Florida is a deep, solid red state. We're talking by plus 14 at this point. Remember, it was still a purple state in 2020. It is stunning how it has shifted. No question. COVID turned it red. I'd have to think it would have to be a solid MAGA person, and Rubio is definitely proving his bona fides on that. JD's incredibly solid. A Trump heir, like Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump. There was a time, there's a lot of talk of Ivanka, but she's since receded from politics. They're not really bringing anything to the table electorally. I mean, JD is awesome in and of himself, being from Ohio, and he's Appalachia through and through. Pennsylvania's 80% Appalachia. So you put JD there, that is going to be almost a guaranteed Ohio. Well, he's getting Ohio no matter what, but almost guaranteed Pennsylvania. Just the trends in Pennsylvania's the new Ohio. It's moving red. And where Pennsylvania goes, Wisconsin, Michigan almost always follow. Every once in a while, there's a little bit of a split. But if Democrats lose Pennsylvania, it's over. We don't even need Wisconsin and Michigan. So JD definitely. JD electoral. Whose vice president would be to complement that? I have to think that one through.
Well, I saw this great tweet today, or post on X. Oh, not this one. Where'd it go? There it is. Be right back. And this is kind of what you were saying earlier. Be right back. Going to sneak into Mexico illegally, get welfare benefits and free healthcare, wave an American flag, burn the Mexican flag, throw rocks at cops, burn vehicles, and then say the Mexican president is a fascist for trying to stop.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. It just literally makes. I mean, these are the same people who will tell you that biological males competing in women's sports is fair. These are the same people who told you for 4 years that Joe Biden was physically and cognitively fit to be president. These same people who tell you that these are just protesters and they're just exercising their right to protest. No, they are illegal migrants who are mocking and vilifying the very nation that they refuse to leave.
And then on the JD Vance topic is just sums it up, and we'll transition over to our uncensored live stream after this. But we're back to you're a racist and a fascist unless you support violent rioters burning down American cities. And I wish Democrats the best of luck through the first Vance term.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
All right, well, we have a call-in section, then we're going to head over to our uncensored live stream. So please use this call-in section as an opportunity to scan that QR code or click the link below and join us for another hour of answering your questions, as many as you'd like. We already have a bank of them to get through from our previous members that have joined us tonight, as they do every Monday night. So please join us. Ask as many questions as you'd like. We'll try to get through as many as we can before we sign off at 8:30. So let's get into this call. It's from one of our beloved members who has been asking a lot of questions in the chat, but we decided they left a call for us. So we're going to play that instead of answering some of their texts.
Dr. Steve, it's Rock Dog. I have a question for you. Since Karen, just call her Karen, the wannabe mayor of LA, and gruesome new scum have basically supported the riots, can't they be removed from office by the Justice Department for inciting violence and failure to do their job that they were elected to do? How about Maxi Pad Waters trying to break into the facility and getting the door slammed in her face? She's tried to incite riots. She's on video back in 2018 in D.C. telling people to get in the face of anybody who works for the administration, which has caused violence. I think as a crackdown, President Trump needs to start arresting these Democrat plantation politicians for inciting violence. And here we go, their buzzword, an insurrection by inciting foreigners who they allowed to illegally cross our borders do violence for their own political gain, period. That's what I think. I'd like to hear what you think about it. Thanks.
Oh, love it, Rock Dog. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, and then to add insult to injury, John Brennan, now former CIA director, was on MSNBC calling on Marines and the military in general to disobey direct orders from President Trump, which, as I understand it, is clearly an insurrection and treasonous. So, yeah, they're playing with fire, and I would, at some point, I think we're getting very close to openly advocating. When I say very close, I mean I think it's going to hit critical mass that Republicans will start, the base will start openly advocating for their leaders to declare the Democrat Party a terrorist organization. If they can do this with, the MS-13 gang members, they can do this with, if they can declare an invasion, I think they can begin to declare them a bona fide insurrection against the United States of America, having sided with what's becoming quickly an enemy in Mexico, with their president trying to incite riots inside our country. Siding with the illegal migrants, siding with gangbangers, siding with violent criminal illegals, siding with trans in women's sports, siding with siphoning our jobs overseas, siding with DEI, siding with all of these. It's a total assault on Western civilization. It's a total assault on America and distinctively American values. And I do think it has gotten to the point where we can viably start to say, you know what, we're done. We're done with you. We're done explaining. We're done defending. We're done arguing. I talked about this in my first video today. 3 million illegal migrants a year for 4 years was the Democrats' shot across the bow. It was their offensive. It was their invasion that they launched into our nation of permanently altering our country into a post-America Democrat image. We have to do the same. We have to assault the Democrat vision of post-America so brutally that no one in their right mind would openly admit to anything that they support today. So I'm with whatever it takes. I'm with it. I'm 100% for it. But we are at a point where I think the Democrat Party as a whole has to be held accountable for the horror that they have brought into our borders and the horror that they have become. And whatever that requires, I think we should be all for it.
Absolutely. Thank you for the call in, Rock Dog. That was awesome. It's always great to hear our members' voices. And it's just another way that we love to connect with our club members. And so if you would like to become a member of the club, just scan that QR code or click the link below, and we will answer as many questions as we can tonight. But then you get, 7 more every month, 8 Q&As a month. That's 2 a week, Monday nights, Friday mornings. And we answer as many questions as we can. So please join us over there. We'd love to see you for only 33 cents a day or $10 a month. We would love to see you over there. So let's transition over there without another moment wasted. And
Come on over, guys.
all our troublemakers over there.
Yeah.